Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming, and we'll start off in a good way, acknowledging we are on the unceded and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people in Surrey. It is the Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations. So, as you all know, the judicial challenge. The judicial challenge did not go the way that we in Surrey had hoped it would, but as I have said all along, I would respect the decision of the Honorable Justice Liu, and I do. However, he did find in his reasons for judgment that the court has confirmed it will be more expensive for Surrey to transition to the Surrey Police Service when compared to maintaining the RCMP, both by way of transition costs and incremental annual costs. That was made clear in the government's own commission, the province of British Columbia's own commissioned third-party report that was done by Deloitte that found that the cost will be more in the range of $75 million per year, or $75 million per year, based on 900 officers, not the $30 million that had been based on 734 officers. And that Chief Lipinski was not being forthright when he told council that he did not know how many SPS officers would be needed to staff up. Clearly, he had a figure in mind when he gave that information for the Deloitte report. All this information only came to light as a result of the city's court challenge. I very much look forward to the release of the court's transcripts for you to read. Policing is a municipal matter, and that was the sentiment shared by the Solicitor General, by Premier Eby, by the former Premier Horgan, as well as every single MLA in Surrey. The fact is, the court challenge has revealed huge holes in this transition to the SPS on multiple levels. And the true costs will have an extremely onerous impact on the City of Surrey and especially on Surrey taxpayers. Which, may I add, is something that all of the NDP MLAs in Surrey and Councillor Annis, Bowes, Elford, and Nagra are more than willing to find acceptable for our residents. The tax burden facing Surrey residents is the reason why the majority of the members of this council and I have fought so very hard to put an end to this transition. And to be clear, if there was no transition, there would have been zero tax increase in the City of Surrey in 2024. So what happens next? Next, there will be a decision that council as a whole will be making. The fact remains the majority of council continues to be concerned with the financial burden this transition is placing on our taxpayers. The Deloitte report clearly states that the extra cost to fund the transition will be in the range of $75 million more every year. And frankly, that massive cost increase will result in some very difficult choices to be made ahead, not only for taxation, but for other infrastructure projects as well in our very rapidly growing city. I can say so very much more, but I will leave it at that, as we have only just received the decision. As you know, we are all still looking, and our legal team is still looking and considering the decision that was rendered today. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Mayor. Thank you for organizing this press conference and making it clear. I would like to note that, as you have already mentioned, majority of the council has already been in the favor of RCMP, keeping the RCMP as the jurisdiction for the subset. But now the decision has been made. What would be your next plan of action? Will this thing will be going on, or it will there be now a decision on it, and we will respect it?
You know, of course, we respect the decision of the court. There's no questioning that. Moving forward, there are lots of decisions to make, and I can only say we only just received the decision hours ago. There's a lot for us to fully understand and look at, but certainly it still comes back to the cost and the tax burden to our residents. It's extraordinary. And we are very, very concerned, and we will continue to be very concerned about that. And so moving forward, that will be what we will be putting forward to council, and council will be making those decisions together.
Can you elaborate what kind of decisions we make? My Minister Mike Hancock, he has already said that the 29th of October will be the date when SPS will be officially the jurisdiction, full jurisdiction of SAP. So what else decision needs to be made pertaining to this decision, or there will be targeted decision?
Well, there's a very, as I've said, there is a very large fiscal decision that we will have to make for our residents, for our taxpayers, and we'll be having to consider how that's done. We will still have to have some communication with the province, and certainly, unfortunately, we will have to have better communication with the Surrey Police Service.
So is it fair to say that you plan to appeal this, or are you leaning more towards accepting this?
It's not fair to say anything right now. The fact is, we're still digesting what we've only received hours ago, and we'll continue to look at that.
Can you clarify roughly how many taxpayer dollars have been spent on this legal challenge so far?
Golly, I'm sorry, I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that those dollars absolutely pale in comparison to the prospect of $75 million more every year. And so our big concern is about how we move forward with what the province has put in front of Surrey taxpayers today.
So you'd be prepared to spend more taxpayer dollars until this is over?
No, I didn't say that. I said we have to determine how we're going to move forward. And that means having conversations with council. This is not a mayor-only decision. It never has been. So council will be getting together and talking some of these things through, and with our finance people as well. Thank you.
Why it makes sense to keep fighting against the province, especially if you decide to appeal?
Well, I haven't said we are going to appeal, and I haven't said we are not going to appeal. But what I am very clear about today is the court recognized, and it's important that we recognize, we wouldn't have known the $75 million tax burden that we're faced. And you can only imagine how shocking that is. That is shocking. So we have to look and see how we're going to manage through that. And so there's lots of considerations, and I'm not sure I answered your question. So
Just why keep moving forward with this fight with the province?
I didn't say we were going to continue with the fight. I said what we are going to do today is review what we've learned today from Justice Liu. We have to consider our options. Council has to consider their options. It's not just my consideration. So we have to put those forward. But I tell you, the biggest concern for us right now is the enormous tax burden that is in front of us, the $75 million. That's significant, and it's something that I don't think anybody can take without just catching their breath for a moment.
So with the court decision being made final there, is this the end of the matter? And do you accept the go-ahead with the Surrey RCMP? I mean, Surrey Police Force.
I certainly respect the decision rendered by Justice Liu today, and everything else is still under consideration. We have a lot of work to do to look at how we're going to manage that enormous debt load that has just been imposed on the city.
So the bottom line, is this the end of the matter or no? Yes or no?
Well, there isn't a yes or no answer to that. It has to go to council. I am not the only one that makes the decision. There's 9 people that have to have the option, and our staff to help us work through some of it. So hopefully we'll have some more information for you in the coming week. But right today, this is absolutely fresh for us.
The matter about the money, the province putting extra money on the table, is that still there? And also the province has also said that you had a surplus in your police budget to offset these costs. Is that
Well, I certainly would expect that if the province has said they're giving money to the city of Surrey after imposing this kind of a burden, obvious tax burden, that they will stay true to helping us through that. So I'm very I'm hopeful that the province would do the right thing in that regard. And your second question?
it's just more of the province claiming that you have more of a surplus
Oh.
in your police budget?
Yeah, that's not factual at all. The city of Surrey bases their budget on a contract that we have with the RCMP. We always have. That budget is regulated. This year, we improved that budget to accommodate the partially the SPS. So no, that's not. There is not any enormous policing budget sitting there waiting to be spent.
We have time for one more question.
Just one last question on the, the cost for the delay for claimed to be $8 million a month. And probably adding all that up in the time from the election to now, probably north of $100 million with legal fees and everything else. That's pretty much because of the delays. What do you say to that?
Well, I think, first of all, it is not $8 million. It was right at the very beginning few months. It is not anywhere close to that now. But I would say that regardless, $75 million is forever, and that will only escalate. We are looking at a generational decision that is being imposed on our city. We were told and we believed, because Premier Eby told us we had the right to choose. And then he decided somewhere along the line, and I still don't know when or why, that it was no longer our right to choose. So I would say we are there. Our council, the majority of council, have always been there to protect the taxpayer in our city. And we will continue to try our best to do the best for the taxpayers of this city.
This matter has already agitated the residents of Surrey, and the listeners who call us frequently, they have only one question to you. How long do they have financially support moving for this in Surrey? Can get any answer to that?
Well, I can tell you that if we'd have gone with the RCMP, we wouldn't be supporting 2 police departments. But with the Surrey Police Service, we know that it is going to be probably at least another 3, maybe 4 years, maybe longer. We don't know how long it's going to take for the Surrey Police Service to be able to get themselves in a position to be the POJ. We haven't seen them be able to get to their goals, the goals that they set for themselves. So, and that isn't just since our council has been there. That happened previously. If you recall, they were supposed to be POJ. They told us they could be POJ by April the 1st, 2021. Didn't happen. Not even close. So I can't tell you that. And you know, I agree with you. That is a big issue for us. But make no mistake, if we had stayed with the RCMP, if we would have been able to do what the Premier told us we could do, we wouldn't be running with 2 police forces today. Thank you. Thank you.